Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Weber on Sports Express. For many of you that may not know me, my name is Harold Weber. I've been broadcasting radio for some 28 years for WSFW Radio and now for the Finger Lakes Radio Group located up in Geneva. My passion has always been to be a sportscaster, and thanks to Jimmy Senecrope and FingerLakes1.com, I have an opportunity to share my views with you on a weekend recap show. That's why we're calling it Express. It'll be anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes weekly, and I hope that you're a regular person that downloads this activity. Well, what a wild, wild weekend in the world of sports. Does it get any better than that? The Yankees and the Red Sox went at it this past weekend in Boston. The Yankees come on the losing end, losing 2 out of 3 games. You have to give credit to the Bo Sox. They don't like the Yankees, and the Boston fans don't like the Yankee fans. Give credit to Josh Beckett last night as he pitched a masterpiece, out-dueling the talented CC Sabathia, the horse of the New York Yankees. What does this all mean in the big scheme of things? Probably not a whole lot, but the Red Sox have bragging rights until they meet again. But of course, A-Rod didn't play on Sunday night, so you might say that's also an issue. He had flu symptoms. So the Red Sox have bragging rights. Speaking of bragging rights, Charles Schwarz, the young man from South Africa, our 1999 kid, played in South Africa with the likes of Ernie Els when he was a young kid. But in 2011, he wears the green jacket. He had a tremendous finish at Augusta National, birdieing the last 4 holes to win by 2 shots. And you have to feel sorry for the likes of Rory McIlroy. This 21-year-old gentleman from Northern Ireland had a 4-shot lead with 1 round to go. Most prognosticators and pundits thought it was his tournament. Sunday at Augusta, having been there in 1979 and 1980 live to watch the tournament, representing WSFW back in those days, I can assure you there's nothing like the back 9 at Augusta when the roars go through the Georgia pines. Poor Rory couldn't make a couple of 4-footers early in his round. He started missing his putts left, and believe it or not, he started driving the ball left and getting himself in all kinds of trouble. Thus, he went on to shoot an 80 with not a breath of wind at Augusta. And I was talking to some of my friends, had you ever seen a tee shot land where it did, left of 10? Having watched that tournament for probably 40 years, never have I seen anyone up there by the cabins. And a couple of shots delivered to CBS, where was the camera work? We as viewers never knew where the ball was. I thought for a moment that he was having a hot dog with a patron up in those cabins. Sort of sad, but he's a class young man, and he will be back. But give credit to the likes of Schwartz because he played spectacular. Some other notes in the world of sports. Let's talk about Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez, you know, I always have been a sports nut, and I remember Manny Ramirez as a gamer. He hit long home runs. He used to dominate the Yankees when he was with the Red Sox. He went out to L.A. and he was Mr. Hollywood. There were thousands of people that came out to see Manny night in and night out. He wasn't a great outfielder. Nobody would ever say that. But he could hit, and he really dominated the Yankees during his prime. I got word the other day that he was retiring. He signed a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay club for $2.5 million. Not a bad income if you can find it. But let's keep things in perspective. He was making $21 million with the Dodgers per year. So all of a sudden, Manny, they announced he's retiring. I thought, that's odd. Why would you retire after 10 games playing Major League Baseball? Well, as luck would have it, there was more behind the story, as Manny once again was uncovered to have an illegal substance in his body. Let's flash back to 2009, sports fans, when he had an illegal substance in his body and he was sat down for 50 games as punishment by Major League Baseball. This time, they found another illegal drug. This time, the punishment got doubled to 100 games. Sit out 100 games or retire. Manny's no spring chicken. He decided not to endure the embarrassment of giving up basically all of 2011. He decided to sign his retirement papers. I think of Pete Rose flashing back, and I remember him as a great player. I, like many of you, watched him when he was in Geneva in the NYP League way back. A phenomenal player. I still believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, even though he was convicted of gambling on baseball. I think the real thing that broke the straw was he gambled on his own team when he was managing it. To me, however, The Baseball Hall of Fame should be for what you did on the diamond, what you did in the infield. What are your stats? Rose's are amazing stats, but he's yet to get in the Hall of Fame, and I hope someday they give him a shot to get in. But now I'm going to remember another legend, Manny Ramirez. Not for his outstanding hitting, not for his long home runs, not for his clutch RBIs in the tough situation. I'll remember him as a druggie. Sort of sad news. By the way, let's take time out to say thank you to Coach Kerr and the Mynderse Academy Lacrosse team. As on this past weekend, on Saturday night or Friday night, I'm not sure which night it was, they paid tribute to a couple of lacrosse legends who are no longer with us. And that, of course, is Al Henry and Jerry Galusha. Those two people put lacrosse sticks in many youth throughout Seneca Falls, and it is what it is today because of Al Henry and Jerry Galusha. I think taking a moment of silence and paying tribute to those two fine was way overdue, and I thank Coach Kerr for thinking about it, because those are two individuals that have made Seneca Falls lacrosse at Mynderse Academy the kind of sport it is today. Without Jerry Galusha and Al Henry, we probably would not have a lacrosse sport in this village. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm getting excited for the first Saturday of May. Not only is that my anniversary with my wife Mary, 45 years if you're keeping track, it also will be the Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs. I like to make a couple of bucks bet on those big races, the big three as we call them. And of course now with Uncle Mo, who ran at Aqueduct this past weekend in the famous Wood Memorial, he was a 1-9 favorite. He was the prohibitive favorite going into the Run for the Roses, which will be on May the 7th. What happened? He ran against a weak class of horses. He took a 1.5 length lead coming down the stretch, only to fade and have not one horse pass him, but two. So Uncle Mo, the big favorite for the Kentucky Derby, no longer the big favorite for the Derby. It's a wide open race. It'll be interesting as you prepare to go to OTB like I do 3 times a year to place a bet. I was going to put it on Uncle Mo. I'm not so sure I'm going to do that anymore. Hey, let's switch subjects again. Let's go up to Geneva now and talk about Mike Bersani. This past weekend up at Sunset Bowl, Mike Bersani is the chair of the Boys and Girls Club in Geneva. Bersani convinced some 400 bowlers from organizations, individuals of all shapes, sizes, and ages to bowl one game at Sunset and to pledge a certain amount of money. Mike Bersani, for the betterment of the community of Geneva, had a target of $45,000, and he expects to reach that target. So it makes me reflect on the fact that as bad as this economy is, as hard it is for people to find jobs, there are the Mike Bersanis of Geneva, and he is just one of many throughout the area that do the right thing. Get a committee together, put on a fun atmosphere, and like bowling, that's fun. I used to bowl. It was fun until I threw the ball in the gutter. But to Mike Bersani from Weberon Sports Express on FingerLakes1.com, congratulations. Kudos goes out to you. Well, you know something? Back on the Masters, there's no tournament in the world like the Masters. But I would be remiss if I did not agree with my good friend John King. John indicating that if he saw tape of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus teeing off as honorary starters for that tournament one more time, he's liable to jump out the window. I understand that Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer are legends. You're never going to replace those two. But CBS does take liberty showing us that film not 10 times, about 21 times I counted during the past weekend. It's one thing to give them credit, but let's watch the tournament. And I have to say, without taking a shot at Jack, Arnie, and Gary Player, the Masters, previous to the first round of the Masters, they have what is called the Par 3 tournament. It's an executive Par 3 course which adjoins Augusta National. They advertise it as a Par 3 tournament. It's telecast by ESPN. The host is Mike Tirico and Curtis Strange. And ladies and gentlemen, all you saw was Arnie, Jack, Gary. Legends? Absolutely. How about some of the other players? And I know it's a fun atmosphere. They bring their kids, their grandchild. their nephews, their nieces, their grandmas. They bring everybody out as caddies. They all get fitted for caddy uniforms. It's a fun afternoon. What isn't fun, for me anyways, and many other people have expressed it, that the entire coverage was Arnie, Jack, and Gary. Legends? Absolutely. But let's see some more players, hopefully, next year. And I couldn't help but laugh this morning, the fact that there was a report with Augusta not having women members. They barred a woman reporter from New Jersey. The guard said, no woman allowed in the locker room. She was trying to interview Rory McIlroy. They made a mistake. You are allowed to go in there and cover whether you're a man or a woman. So that's a look at the way I see the weekend in sports. I hope that you'll download me each and every week on fingerlakes1.com. It's been fun, and I hope you find it also fun. So until next time, folks, that's a look at sports my way.